Hey, and welcome to Where Music Meets Bold. Today we have Terry Ahern. And Terry and I met when I first moved out here. Do you remember how we met?
How we met? Wow. Wasn't it the Canyon Club?
It was the Canyon Club,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
your wife's parents kind of took us under their wing.
Well, that's right.
And we used to go to, like, to us, they were so accepting. I've never come across people like that in my life.
Yeah, Bill and Diane Locklear.
Yeah, and
My in-laws.
Yeah, they're such amazing people. Because I thought, how did they welcome some random Italian and German girl into their lives? And they just took care of us, and we got to go to your Thanksgiving. That funny picture of Jackson and I with him ripping the cigar out of my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
That happened at the Locklears.
Wow. I totally forgot about that. I mean, it's been a while. How many years ago?
I think it was 3 lifetimes.
Yeah, so about 25 years ago.
Because I remember looking at your wife going, wow, she looks like an awful lot like Heather Locklear.
It's funny, she's the oldest, so Lori would be like, Heather looks a lot like me.
That is true.
So you'd get that.
And then you actually work with Richie.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because I like to talk with Richie Sambora we're talking about, and Richie is the most amazing musician I've ever met. Like when you talk to him and his abilities and his voice, everybody thinks he's a guitar player, but he sings.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think the unplugs with MTV really showed where the context of the sound of Bon Jovi came from is not only Richie's songwriting, but his playing and pushing his.
It's funny because the politics of all of that, because John's son is starting some wine company.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we get those calls because in the music industry, if someone starts like Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo do 3 chords bourbon.
Right.
And it's really amazing stuff because it's their passion.
Right.
And Richie is a passionate guy, and I've experienced him, and he's probably one of the nicest guys around.
The kindest guy around. And
he's the one that said you never see a fat rock star. we were eating at some
I guess that's
restaurant.
why I wouldn't be one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we are omitted from being rock stars.
Yeah. No, Rich, back to your point about Richie, I forget what we were saying, but yeah.
He's a wonderful guy, and people don't understand he wasn't just the guitar player.
No,
he sang, he wrote, and I know it because last time I saw him, he was dating a girl named Oratante. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And we booked Oratante because I was obsessed with guitar players.
Sure.
And she's coming back here soon.
Amazing.
And all of a sudden I see Richie show up. And I'm like, what is Richie doing here?
Yeah.
He's dating her. And I was like,
I do her brand too.
You do?
Yeah, she's amazing.
She is. We're just rebooking her right now.
Her last album, Some Kind of Feeling, #1 in I think on the blues charts in Europe. Yeah,
I want to see her and Kenny Wayne Shepherd together.
Yeah,
is that possible?
I'm sure. I mean, I'll tell you something.
But they tried to do that. They tried to put B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Johnny Lang all together, and it didn't work.
No. Well, I mean, there's obviously, there's some kind of a chemical. What is it? The chemistry, but not even that from a marketing standpoint. If you got a powerhouse, why water it down, right? They say in business, the only time you need a partner is when you need money. So if you don't need money, just get a good backup band and let's go.
Yeah, but who was the guitar player or the drummer for the Beatles? Ringo. He does his all-star thing.
Yeah, a dear friend of mine is Steve Lukather, and Steve used to call me because his
Steve Lukather from Toto.
Yeah, he and I are pals. He used to call me because Fee Waybill was always playing at your place. Right. This is like 20 years ago. He called me all the time. Terry,
did you know Fee is the one that got me into music?
I only knew that from listening to this podcast today, and I was going, I can't wait to tell Lance, because I've snuck into that place a million times seeing Lukather, watching Fee play there. This is back in the 90s.
Isn't it crazy to see between Fee and Lukather, how many songs did they write?
Oh.
The crazy thing is it's all country.
Yeah, it's amazing talent.
Did you know that? Ethan's sitting here. He's looking at me like deer in the headlights. and he knows music too.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that Lukather and those guys were writing all the country songs. They wrote songs for Nickelback.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody would actually admit to writing a song
Yeah.
for Nickelback.
In the day, Tommy Lee and I were brother-in-laws for 10 years and best friends,
Right.
inseparable from 86 to 96. And the late night parties between Ed Van Halen and Lukather and Tommy and I at Tommy's
Did you
house.
know Tommy? You should tell him someday. He'll probably punch me in the face next time he sees
Do I
me.
know Tommy? We were best friends for 10 years.
I was the one that laid on top of him at the House of Blues.
Oh, when you hit the photographer? When you hit the photographer?
Right.
It's the only time he was at the House of Blues.
But I
probably.
protected him
Oh,
because
yeah.
everybody else was trying to punch him, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
laid on top of him. He is like, and I'm gargantuan, so I just laid on top of him. And he was struggling, and he realized, like I think halfway through, I was protecting him.
Yeah, he is as tall as I am. That's
Right.
6'3", and probably a third of the weight. When he and Heather married in 1986, his tuxedo, Heather put on. I think it was Heather put on, and was tied on her leg.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's how thin he is and tall like that. But I mean,
He's wiry, dude.
he's very wiry, and he loves to throw a punch. I'll tell you that.
Well, I remember because when I was jumped on him, but I also am the guy that smashed Phil Spector's face into the wall.
I remember that. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
So I walk into the foundation room, and Ethan, you remember this, and he was in the Ganesh room, and I see him pushed up against the Ganesh, and he's peeing.
Who? Which one?
Phil
Oh, it's
Spector.
Phil Spector. Okay, yeah.
He's peeing behind the Ganesh.
In the
And
foundation room?
In the foundation room.
Well, that's
So, of course, I'm in charge of building. So I get so offended. I go over and hit him, and Dan Aykroyd comes running over like, no, don't hit him. I wanted to absolutely kill him. But that's funny because I can't even tell you, the hallway at the House of Blues.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's gone now, but where all the green rooms
Yeah,
are
yeah,
in the
yeah,
foundation room,
yeah.
more stuff happened in that hallway. More fights, more brawls, everybody. That was where Prince came down and somebody looked him in the eye and he left.
Who was Leanne Moen working there at the time?
The name sounds very
Yeah,
familiar.
because I remember. I don't think it was you.
Was she doing green room stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah, I had to switch over to green room.
yeah,
At first, I put these really
Yeah.
cute girls in there, and then I finally said, "Oh, not doing that." And I found a 350-pound girl that could beat up anybody, and I made her the green room.
I'd love to be beat
no
up.
problems.
Can I get her number? I'd love to be beat up by her.
I would say her name, but she'd probably be offended.
But
the issue was is she got the job done, and she didn't take any guff from people,
Right.
and and I think about all of those things, and then when you're in the green room, you got guys doing heroin, you got guys smoking pot, and now think about it.
I
Smoking
love
pot
that.
means nothing.
Doing heroin and smoking pot in the same sentence. Almost the same
and that's
thing.
what
But
the
probably-
difference was.
Yeah.
Remember what they used to call
Heroin's a little stronger, I think.
You think?
It might be. Depends how much you smoke or whatever, right?
yeah.
It's relative.
Yes. But in that hallway,
Yeah.
that has to be like the ultimate behind the scenes.
Well, it's interesting. When I met you, I had done leadership development for some of the guys at the House of Blues. Now, was it Eric?
Eric Berghammer.
Okay, Eric. Who was the tall guy that was with the fro? Really tall, 6'5". He was part of that whole group, Eric, and he was electrician cat or production guy. He was head of production.
It might have been Dave Wells.
Yeah, it was another.
He was a production for the Bangles and stuff. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I remember these names. Do you? It's like you come up with. That was such a great experience in my life,
Yeah.
and what people don't understand is there was no Live Nation.
Yeah.
There was no big organized booking. The only guy we had was the guy out of San Francisco. What was his name? Bill Graham
Graham?
Presents.
Mm-hmm.
And we had him. He was the biggest promoter in the United States, and him and Delsner in New York. And I remember Delsner, New York, and I know I'm talking and no one knows who I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
Delsner, New York, we would be scared that someone would end up dead on our front doorstep, because it was very close to like leverage.
Don Sidney.
Don Sidney, yeah, I remember
name.
Don.
I had to look it up.
He was the head of production.
I just told you it was production.
Why do you say he was bald?
Was he? We had hair when I met him. But you know how that could change,
That's pretty funny. He's the one that hooked us up with a bunch of lighting companies.
Yeah. And then Ozzie Gooday, Aline Calavita, a couple other cats, Ross Holman, I remember. Steve McFadden, do you know Steve?
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Liz Smith.
What did you do for them?
We did some leadership.
Oh, that's true. We used to go out to like Colorado.
Greg
and do
Trojan.
Greg Chodron. I don't know.
Don Watson.
Yeah, Don's not here anymore, so I do not want to pull a Trump
Okay, cool.
and speak ill of the dead. But the Don Watson.
Don't go there.
This was my experience. I was running the company. I was vice president of operations and development. Think about that title. That meant there was no one else working in corporate. That didn't mean I was important. That just meant I was the only guy. It was Carol Gonsetz, my son, Jim Dunn. And that was the corporate office. And no matter what we did, is when Greg Trojan came by, I remember sitting across the room, and I was the numbers guy. So I was saying, this guy's smart. And nowadays, if you go, and I think he's one of those guys that went to Columbia, and he has like all of these pedigrees. And all I got from that is those people that went to like Harvard and Columbia, they literally had no business ethics.
Right.
And I always thought to myself, maybe at Harvard they should teach business ethics, because I can tell you the story. At House of Blues, I had 300,000 shares of stock because I was one of the founding guys. And after I left, they wrote my stock down to $18. 300,000 shares. I found out what par value was. They revalued the company, and then all of a sudden, my 300,000 shares, which should have been $10 million, was worth $18.
Welcome to the world of was it dilution?
Yeah, dilution.
Your education on dilution, right?
Yeah. But you realize that all those people are smarter. And the crazy thing, I was doing research on.
Yeah.
Your and my lives are pretty mirrored because you coached football.
Oh, my passion was football. I always wanted to. Well, first of all, as a kid growing up, I was a Caneo Cowboy. We looked identical to the Cowboys. The Cowboys practiced in Thousand Oaks, California, where I grew up.
And now they're in Oxnard.
It was called CLC at the time.
And
Roger Staubach.
We do their spring practice.
So I grew up a Cowboy, and my problem was I was an all-star youth football player, but when I got to high school, I didn't grow, and I really didn't grow. I mean, I stayed at 103 pounds up until my junior year. I graduated 124, 125 pounds. Which I couldn't play my last 2 years of football. And
Looking at you today and knowing you graduated high school 125 pounds, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I wrestled, but so I knew. So my passion was football. Long and short of it is I couldn't wait to have kids. I told my wife I wanted to have 2 boys and a girl, and we did.
How did you meet your wife?
I met my wife, Lori, going to UCLA, and it was on Veterans Day. It was a day off, and I went into a bar at the Landing in Westlake, and it was the last night opened by the owner.
Hamid.
No, this is back in the 80s. This is 80.
Before
1984, way before Hamid. He wasn't even born, probably. 1984. But that location, and they were closing the bar, and Lori was bartending. And I went in there, and
you fell in love.
Fell in love. She asked me what I did, and I said, I made recycled diapers. And she goes, what do you mean you make recycled diapers? I said, well, we actually make playing cards with recycled diapers. And she didn't believe me for some reason. And now that I think of it, it was a hell of a story. Because it's probably doable.
Was it true?
No. But I wanted to do it. I had the intent of doing it.
So you were talking about, you started this new company called Tie-In.
Yeah.
And I was reading on it.
Yeah.
And other than it sounded a little Kamala Harris-ish, like when I was trying to decipher what it is, can you explain it for a moron? Because I was reading it and it uses a lot of words, but what is it? Because you just explained it to me.
Let me just give you an overview real quick. In the leader, back to coaching football.
Right.
My goal was, my dream in life was to coach football. I love kids. I just love the innocence of a child. I love building confidence in people.
Did you coach high school or college?
No. No. I mean, growing up, I was, and still am, so ADHD, but they didn't have the drugs they have now. But ADHD, frothing at the mouth, people used to tell my parents all the time, you got to get this kid some professional help. And my dad used to say, just leave him alone. Well, ends up, I went to school, graduated, got a graduate degree, and all my cousins are getting DUIs. And so my aunts asked my mom, they said, well, what did you do with Terry? I mean, he turned out fine. We thought he was a nut job. Not that I'm not a nut job, but she said, we just left him alone. I mean, people used to ask my mom in the store when they were checking her ID, they'd say, Geraldine Ahern, do you have a son named Terry? She would say, why? She wouldn't say yes, just to say why.
We had that experience the other day when we asked one of our partners, I said, this guy says he's your lawyer.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and goes, I'll talk to you later. I was like, okay, that's an answer.
So I think having such great parents that always pushed me and were positive, it's so easy, as we all know, to kill the spirit of a child. It could be a coach.
Now,
I
know your two sons.
Yeah.
And your one son is the most calm human being I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the other son is like us, wound up.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Well, the one you're talking about that's calm, Ryan, the oldest, when he steps on in the playing field, he becomes focused and he gets jacked up like that. But he's more, he watches his P's and Q's. He's a little bit more politically situational than Shane is. I think Shane's a little more like me, a little bit more reactive up front.
And the thing about Shane is I always look at him, and when Karen and I, my wife, comes in, I said, that boy's going to be rich someday.
Yeah.
You know what? You see guys like that, they're hustlers. I'm working with this guy named Ari, who is just like, when you look at him, you're like looking in a mirror. And guys like that, I know if I hired him, I'd ruin him.
Right.
He'd be toast. Because he should never be someone's employee.
What's funny is the older one, Ryan, the one's more quiet, he's a hustler too. He just catches the first big fish on the first toss.
Yeah.
Shane just doesn't give up. None of them will give up ever, but they execute under pressure, and they're both athletes.
It's so funny because you and I will always look at Shane as the 3-year-old. Well, running around. When I was in your house, he's running arond like a maniac because I look at my Jackson, who owns his own restaurant, married with a kid.
The Rat Man.
And he's still my baby.
Yeah.
And sorry, Jackson, I don't mean to call you my baby. He's a 6 foot tall, 240
baby.
pound baby.
Yeah, sure.
He runs his restaurant, and I realize he paid attention to everything I did.
Well, kids are a reflection of us, and so what an honor to watch our kids. I mean, to me.
But do you look at that, because I look at Shane as a mini you? Oh yeah. But I look at Ryan as a mini.
He's a mini me, but in a different fashion, different way. He's learned a lot from me, from probably my mistakes.
You don't have that one kid that if you say up, he says down, and you say right, he says left. Your kids actually listen to you?
Yeah, no. It's morals, values, principles. You don't teach those, you live those. I think your kids learn those. The way you teach your kids honesty is to be honest. Hard work is to work hard, and that's how they learn them. So they're a reflection of us, and to me, it's the greatest gift in the world, and I think that we measure our wealth.
If you had it done today,
not only in our kids, but in our grandkids.
I tell my wife this. If you had to do it today, would you have 5 more kids?
5 more? No, I wanted 3, and I would only have 3.
Oh, I would have had 5 more kids.
Well,
and my wife is like,
I know you would have.
Yeah.
Because that's just more hands to help around the house, because you like to delegate. That's you.
They're all gone now.
Well, I know, but that's your problem.
It's crazy because as a parent,
now you can't find anybody.
As a parent, if you're successful, guess what your reward is? Your kids leave and they go and live their own lives.
Thank God.
And if you aren't successful, then they live in the back of your house and ask for money every day, and then they complain about the car that you bought them.
Yeah, your job as a parent is to make sure that they learn how to make a living and survive on their own. Teach them how to fish, not giving them a fish.
When I was reading the tie-in stuff, what caught me was real lifesavers. What does that mean?
Well, let's back up for a second. What is tie-in? Tie-in started in 2014. Let me give you a little background. Leadership development I got into in the 90s because I wanted to coach football. I wanted to spend time with my kids. And being in corporate America, it's kind of hard to do that, the 9 to 5 and the traveling. So I was able to control my hours, very successful selling CEOs on executive development. So I got to coach not only one team, but 2 football teams. I mean, it was just living the ultimate dream.
How do you coach 2 football teams? At the same time?
First of all, I didn't sign up for 2. I had 1.
Oh.
One of all the kids moved up, and they didn't have a coach. And one of my assistant coaches, who had an alcohol problem, was going to take the job. And I thought, I am so bent on making sure as you well know, I'm loud, but always positive, but loud. And,
do you know how I started coaching? Karen looked at me and said, that parent is never going to coach my kid. You have to coach Jackson. And that's what made me start coaching.
Our wives volunteer us for things, and I don't know why they ask us, because we're doing it, right?
But you know what?
It's their job. It's our job to just say, yeah, I'll do it. Like
but
we have
still
a say.
Today, I run the company, but I still coach for Simi Valley.
Well, I mean, that's your passion.
Right.
I mean, that gives you, that fuels you. Now, when you talk about it fuels you, it's meaningful to you, correct?
Right.
The question is, how much meaning do you have in the rest of the day? What other things? I mean, you obviously love doing this. I can see you shining doing it. But back to that meaningfulness. You ask what tie-in is? Tie-in
Isn't that funny? He's analytically looking at me and applying his mojo.
Tie-in is tying in meaningfulness into people's lives. It's exactly what it is. It's nothing hokey.
And it's funny
hard.
because people who lose their meaningless fall apart.
Well, we know what a vicious cycle is. A vicious cycle is a stairway going down. It's the tit for tat. You do that, I can do it worse. Tit for tat. A virtuous cycle is a stairway going up. You did this for me, I'm going to do that back to you better, and then put a tip on it. So it's a tip. It's a tack for tip. Boom, boom, boom. I wanted to come up with a process that people on their own got so much value out of it that they'd crave doing it. The meaningfulness of sharing gratitude, appreciation.
Because we can do a radio show, and I appreciate the fact that you do.
How'd you get there?
I want, how do we, because my mission in life is to help kids.
Okay.
Because I realized when I coached football for Oaks Christian, those parents did not need me. At Simi Valley, I experienced parents that were struggling and having problems, and I would go out and buy a pair of cleats for a kid because his family couldn't afford them, and that was hard for me to perceive that there were people who living out there where you couldn't afford the cleats or you couldn't afford something, and I saw giving a kid a pair of cleats changed his life.
It's unbelievable. The gift of giving and watching what it does.
And it was beneficial for me.
Well, the gift coming back to you is bigger.
Right.
The reciprocity is even bigger. But what it does for that child, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I can tell you that I had this kid I coached football with, and he worked for me. And 10 years after he worked for me, he sent me the nicest note in the world saying, "You changed my life. You gave me a purpose, and you gave me a reason. So I'm successful today because of you." And I really appreciate that.
But that's the biggest gift in the world, the random reciprocity. And think what you did to that child. Now his passion is to probably do that to somebody else. Right. So the impact that we have on other people multiplies. But back to tie-in. What tie-in does is it's very simple. Our goal is to monetize. Think about this, monetizing gratitude and fame. If we could monetize gratitude and fame and take that money and give it to those in need.
Right.
And we are going to do that. This app is almost done. It's going to change the world. I'll show you in a second.
So who's going to be part of the app?
Everyone's part of the app. Let me tell you how the app started. The app started in 2014. I did leadership development. I did branding, behind the scenes branding for my sister-in-law, Heather Locklear, for a bunch of other celebrities under different pen names, but I controlled the media. With that said, I understand the value of images and what they are in the marketplace. Celebrity images. It's gone down a lot in the last 10, 15 years. Celebrityism has. But a photo back then of a great celebrity could go for $250,000. These days it would go for $1,000. But it's all changed. But the long and short of it is, 2014, Ellen DeGeneres took that selfie at the Academy Awards with all the actors in it. They went around the world 37 million times in 24 hours. And the next day in the Wall Street Journal, they had an article that said if that picture was sold versus given away, it would have brought in $1 billion.
Really?
And I know that because if I had that picture, I could have monetized it for $1 billion. So in 2014, I started.
I'm sorry, you're not going to get away with that one. How would you monetize that? And we're wrapping up right now, but we're bringing you back for another half hour so that you can explain this because I find tie-in to be ingenious and game-changing.
Okay, here's the thing that'll bring you back for the next half hour. We've debunked there's a traditional research that states that celebrities bring no value to charities unless they have an individual person sick in their family. But there's no value celebrityism brings to charity. We've debunked it.
Right.
This phone right now can allow any kind of influencer to raise money for a charitable cause every hour of the day while they're out in public.
I'm going to cut you off here because I know Wayman is looking at me saying I got to pay the bills. And we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a minute after these few statements. And welcome to Where Music Meets the Soul with Terry Ahern. Thanks. And we're back where Music Meets the Soul with Terry Ahern. This is a personal friend of mine. For as long as I've been in California, I've known Terry. And his family basically adopted my family. And I know more about Terry than anybody needs to know. And for Terry, I know 80% of what you do, no one knows.
Exactly.
But what we're talking about is tie-in.
Yes.
And making people feel a certain way.
Right. The great thing about tie-in is it will overnight change the stories of how people tell stories. Currently, social media, when it came out, if you weren't a narcissist or an egotist, you became one because you have to talk about yourself. So what it's done to the world is it's stripped relationships of empathy, which is the glue. That's why we've had the polarization of people pulling apart throughout the world.
Do you think that that's why people are resorting to gun violence?
I think, of course. It's all we're in a torn country in a torn world. What tie-in will do is it'll take stories of me, and turn them into stories of we. If we can get people to tell stories of we, it'll bring empathy back and us back together again.
We should start a night where we just talk about stuff like that.
There's a word called gracification. It's the act of giving grace, which is thank yous or appreciation. What tie-in does is it incorporates that into our storytelling about we. It's a new industry. It's called selfless.
Like, this is so wholesome, and I don't ever look at you and say, oh, he's so wholesome. This is a truly wholesome thing you're doing. You know that.
It's 11 years and a lot of money. But I'll tell you something.
This
industry will change social media because social media
is negative.
It's negative, and you can say all the things you want about it, but it's entertainment. People go there to be entertained. The problem is we don't need to be entertained our whole lives. Right. We need to be inspired. So what selfless social is, the tie-in platform is a platform that inspires meaning. People will come to it, get inspired, then get off of it and go live your life, come back, share it, but get engaged, get inspired. Back to...
So is it stories that they're telling about, like, this happened to me?
Yeah, let me tell you the best way to explain it. When we launch it in 2 months, it'll instantly turn stories of me to we. And the first product we have is the C-Snap that you had seen.
Can you come back in 2.5 months to talk about the launch?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I would love that, Lou. Because I want to see this because... reading about it, I didn't quite understand it, but I got the feeling it was why I coach football. It's why I give back,
right?
Because it makes me feel good. And I know the act of giving helps other people, but I'm worried about me.
Right. Let me give you an example of the C-Snap. The C-Snap was at Housewives of Beverly Hills wedding, 2018. And I said to Lisa Vanderpump, I said, Lisa, do you want to be a lifesaver? She goes, yeah. I go, let's do a C-Snap. She goes, what's a C-Snap? I go, it's a charity snap. I go, it's where we take a picture right now, and later I purchase it, and the money goes to your charity. She goes, I'll do 10 of them. I go, no, I just need one. We took it. She goes, that's a great idea. She said, thank you. I said, thank you. I said to Carmela Grammer, I said, Carmela, do you want to be a lifesaver? She goes, yeah. I go, let's do a C-Snap. She goes, what's that? I go, it's a charity snap. It's where we take a picture, and later I purchase it, and the money goes to your charity.
And when you...
And she said to me, she goes, let's do 10 of them. I go, I just need one. I took it. She goes, that's a hell of an idea. Whose is it? I said, it's mine. So most people in the world, if they saw a celebrity, if they had an opportunity, or an influencer, forget about celebrity, they wouldn't ask them because they'd be too afraid. Now everyone had confidence because every influencer would say yes because you don't need my time. We don't even need to talk. Just really click, C-snaps only, like my shirt says.
All right.
Click.
Oh,
and they're
C-snap.
gone. C-snaps only. Charity
C-S-A-M-P.
snaps is short for charity snap.
Cherry snap. Oh.
So they take it real quick, but later they purchase it. So now when I take a picture with Richie Sambora in public, I said to Gene Simmons, I said, Gene, if you had the phone number and email of every person you've taken a selfie with in public, what would that mean to you? He said, billions. He goes, I'd sell them condoms and I'd sell them coffins on the way in
And
on
if
the way
Gene,
out.
if anybody was going to do it, it would be Gene.
Well, that is our first product.
You know why I like him
that's
so
our
much?
first product.
That guy is a constant marketing machine.
Well, think about this. Remember I told you that celebrities bring nothing to charities?
Yeah.
Now a celebrity, when the influencer goes out in public, they have a private life, but they can use their phone. Everybody comes up to them, C-snaps only, dink, 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 quick pictures, boom, 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 and then they move on. We don't need to talk. But that picture.
So it's an app on everyone's phone.
Yeah. So when I do that picture with Tom Cruise, at that moment, Tom and I do something meaningful together. People used to come to Tommy Lee, and everyone wants a picture with us. So guys hanging on to Tommy, and he goes, dude, I love your band Rat. Tommy goes, F you, I'm not in Rat. Tommy hated it. But most people, it's all about bragging rights. And what a C-snap does is, nobody will ever take a picture for free. Why? Because we should be doing something meaningful together. Let's honor something. So that one moment, we help save a life together. So we say saving a life together is a bonded fan forever. But what people don't realize is we turn that one time of a fan into a friend. So that photo with Tom Cruise was a one-time deal. I made a donation
And
to
so
his.
the person who bought the photo.
I bought the photo with Tom Cruise.
Through C-Snap.
Yeah, through C-Snap. I bought the photo.
So the money went to a charity.
To his charity.
Right.
So he's able to raise money for his charity with every photo. So the charity on Monday mornings, like, we just got 25 new donations from 25 hot leads. We got the cash. It's an onslaught of cash. We got 25 new people that got referred to us by Tom Cruise. Tell me that's not hot. So the X moves over, and now we develop a relationship with those people, and they make a next donation next. The Y goes over. So go to the corner and scale that out on a bigger number thing. Right. It's a $1 trillion business. Right. It's just changing the dynamics of we, me to we.
Right.
So that's you. Remember I said using fame?
It's weird because how did you come up with that?
You want to know how I came up with it?
Yeah, how did you come up with that?
I told you about Ellen DeGeneres, right?
Right.
I said, I got to start a company where celebrities can donate their images to us. We sell them, and the money goes to charity. That $1 billion, Ellen DeGeneres, it took her 17 seconds to take that picture.
Right.
It was worth $1 billion. We call it the 117B example. Right. If one celebrity could make $1 billion in 17 seconds, I think we're in $1 trillion business here, Lance. This was in 2014. Right. The problem with this, 2018, flash forward, I'm ready to market this thing. I got the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I realized it's not ready. Plus, I got sued by one of the biggest companies in the world that wanted the charity snap because all of my IP had gotten into place. So the big guys came in. I got out of. You can't pick on a charity like me, and I run the media. You don't want that.
Right.
So, the long and the short of it is.
Well, that's the biggest thing is if a big company got a hold of this Amazon, they would ruin it.
Because
they would monetize it, and then they would.
People don't realize that if you want change in this world, I'll be honest with you. Big companies move in. They'd say, Lance, the Canyon Club, CanyonClub.net, is moving in on us, on our brand, and we just need to check it out. We're going to police our brand. They under the auspices of policing you, they put you out of business. They just move over and sit on you.
And Luann can verify this.
Doesn't matter how much money you have.
When I first opened up the Canyon Club, we were the #1 music search in the United States.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, we were the #1 music search in California.
Yeah.
Now, when you Google us, we don't show up on the first 3 pages because I didn't realize that not only if you don't pay to promote yourself, they suppress you.
It's a game. Now you can't even get past Google Zero. So
it's crazy because I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think to myself, these people are tracking us.
Right.
And you know what they are? They're credit card companies. They're just siphoning 3% off of everything.
It's a flim-flam. Everybody takes a piece before you get it. There's nothing left.
Right. And then you're the one holding the bag, running everything with all the liability.
Right.
And then you're sitting here with that.
So back to how the C-Snap came up. So the images, monetizing gratitude and fame for those in need. Starting a company where they donate their images and we sell them, boom, versus them giving them to a publicist or somebody else taking
What
them.
percentage actually goes to the charity? I know that's a tough
Mostly
one.
all of it. We only take a minimum. We take 15%. The rest of it goes it's all about going to
Well,
the
that's
charity.
good. So 85% is getting to people.
So that was the first product. It was called Selfies of Selfless Peoples, right? So
You know what this reminds me of? The person who came up with GoFundMe pages.
Well, GoFundMe is a great company, but GoFundMe works on reactions out of shock.
Right.
I'm a neurobehavior expert.
Yeah, but that's a negative thing. You're
It's a
doing
negative
a positive.
We're doing a positive, which makes it keep going.
Right.
Theirs is just right away, just do one and done. Ours is, I married the
So
hottest chick.
are you going to like enter into like my company? Can get a band picture every time the song
You'll
plays.
figure it out. Here's the first thing. So back to the photo image. That was big. But here's what I did. I went to people I knew, and I said, Tommy, I said, post a story. What we do is we have the online gratitude lounge, gratitudelounge.com.org. It's an online gratitude lounge where people post stories of inspiration, gratitude, or just mere appreciation. You got to remember, some people don't have gratitude. Somebody died, maybe somebody assaulted them.
Right.
So they have a lot of anger, a lot of pain. But if you can just do you have appreciation for something? Even the most negative person would probably say no. You're like, just give me something. They're like, well, the mailman brings me my mail. I go, perfect.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere. Let's just start with something little and we'll work with you. All right. But putting something on online gratitude lounge was the start. So I said to Tommy, my brother-in-law, Tommy, I said, bro, go there and list a story of appreciation or what you're grateful for. He's like, well, like what, dude? I go, I don't know. You got something. Just say something, whatever. Show your parents. So he goes online. He doesn't even write a story. He posts a picture of a shirt. He's wearing a shirt that says thank you, and he's feeding a huge giraffe. And I went, that picture is great.
Right.
People, he threw in the online gratitude lounge, and just the couple of people that I had on the internet, it took off. It went viral. It brought in $10,000 in like 3 days.
Really? And how does it bring it in? People buy the photo so they can...
No, they just saw that Tommy Lee donated a story
photo.
of thank you. He didn't even write anything. But he donated in the gratitude lounge. And everybody did a thing called an add-on donation because instead of going negative, like GoFundMe, it's positive.
I really like
this. And he picked PETA as the charity. And he was showing his gratitude. Well, see, what happens is when you make somebody feel something,
Right.
you touch their soul, they take action. You got their attention. People start dinging.
And you're right, because news has become shock.
It's
Everything is shock. Everything is trying to get you to
It's a spiral,
go.
vicious cycle. We're going a virtuous cycle up, which emotional energy is more powerful than any other
Do these
energy.
huge corporations understand that
They
we
won't.
are
'Cause what
smart
they'll do
enough
is-
to see when
No,
we're being
you got to
manipulated?
remember something. You know marketing.
Yeah.
The most powerful type of marketing is emotional marketing.
Right.
Coca-Cola, McDonald's spend billions every year trying to use Mean Joe Green, get into little kids,
Right.
leverage marketing. When you do a photo with Richie Sambora and you've never donated before, and you make a donation to buy that photo on a C-Snap,
Right.
and all of a sudden, we have a brand like Coca-Cola that reaches out to you afterwards and says, hey, listen, everyone loves a threesome, but we don't want to get in between you and Richie Sambora, but we would like to
Sponsor the page.
We'd like to sponsor your next donation in the Gratitude Lounge. Because when you took the picture with Richie and you bought the photo, after you buy it, you get a free post in the Gratitude Lounge. So in that free post,
It's almost like a new social media platform.
it is. It's selfless social. It's called
Right.
selfless social. So you post your picture with you and Richie. You give him a little backstory. I met Richie at the Canyon
We
Club.
need to run this past our daughters. And
Yeah,
are they good
but you
with
give
it?
a little picture. You give a backstory in Richie, and you post it. What happens is your friends see it and go, "That's pretty cool." And
Right.
Richie was cool. They may do an add-on donation with it. So that money meter that you had for Richie's charity starts going through the roof just by your social followers.
And it's not like someone donating tens of thousands of
No,
dollars.
no. But it's people appreciating how cool he was to do that with you. So with that said is, the follow-up to that is a brand goes, listen, Coca-Cola says, hey, listen, we'd like to sponsor your next story in the Gratitude Lounge. You're like, I don't have a story. They're like, tell one. You're like, well, I'll tell it about my wife and my kids. So now you post a story because it's free. They're making the donation. And you post it. And everybody goes, Lance, how'd you get a partnership with Coca-Cola? You're like, oh, I didn't tell you I met Richie Sambora. You're like, no, Coca-Cola made that donation. So now you've made 2 donations. You've made
Right.
one
And
for
the
Rich,
cause
one for
Coke.
Coca-Cola. Then what we do is we come along third and we go, hey, Lance, you're such a selfless champion. You and Richie have teamed up together to raise money for charities. Wonderful. You've teamed up with Coca-Cola. we'd like to make the next donation for your next story in the Online Gratitude Lounge around four-legged furs or for your four-legged friends.
Because he does PETA.
Well, we know that you might have animals, and people love animals. So we'll make that donation. Think about it. Here you have an individual. Most people don't have a charity they support. They do nonprofit work, but they don't have a charity. You've made one donation. You've got the feeling of the donation on Richie Sambor and everybody adding donations on. You watch it go viral. 2, you got Coca-Cola. That's gone viral because you did a story on your family and your wife, and people see you in that kind of fashion. They just thought you were some rock star owning this big, concert business. They see the real lamp.
But the issue,
and then the third one is they see
your
heart with your furry friends. You have 3 opportunities that you've.
But don't you?
This
also,
behavior you did 3 times is called operant conditioning. Now you're on your way. You really understand the value of giving to charity, and that's the goal. Once you learn to do something and you feel it, you keep feeling it, then you're going to crave it because you're going to realize you're going to find what most people don't find: giving.
It's more
not
satisfying.
As great. It's more satisfying because what you receive keeps coming back in droves, 10 times more than what you give. People don't realize it because they never try it, but they don't have an opportunity to try it, and that's what we're going to do.
It's funny because, especially as I get older,
yes,
everybody's worried about yourself. And in reality, you need to worry about others because we've kind of already done our stuff.
Right.
And now it's our children. And to me, what gets me excited is I think social media is a big time suck. And at the end of the day, something like this, I would feel good. Because every time I get off of social media, I feel bad about myself. And I know that they're just putting out the best parts of their life.
So here's the cool thing. The product, the actual C-Snap came from Tommy and my interaction of what he did. Because when I was talking to him, I said, you could actually charge someone to take a picture with you. And he goes, yeah. And I went, let me call you right back. I just got on the thing and I got everything filed, got it done. But what I want people to understand is not everyone has an opportunity to see an influencer. If you're living in Iowa, there might not be an influencer. So a C-Snap is an opportunity. But here's the thing. The influencer or the celebrity in my life is my mom. My mom passed away in 2007, but she still lives in my heart. I don't care about someone that's famous on TV. Someone that's famous in my life, my wife, my kids, my family, my friends. I post a story. I want to do a C-Snap. We call it a lifesaver. Drop a lifesaver. Share a moment, if it's a moment of my mom who passed away from cancer. Write my story about my mom, because our lives are stories. Stories of our lives are what makes us. And if you have no one to tell them to, it means nothing. We create an environment that whatever your story is, whatever the meaning is in that story, we magnify it by 1 million listeners, people that want to hear that story. And I'll tell you how we do it. Everybody does a lifesaver. I can do one with you and be grateful for what you've done for my sons, giving them jobs in college and giving them a lot of learning experience about how you work and your work ethic, which I admire. I post that story, you and I say, Lance is my friend. I'm picking. Here's the thing. That's my feeling with you.
Right.
I'm going to pick a charity to honor it forward. Throw down $5, $10, $20. The question is, what's the shared identity? With you, it might do something with wrestling, kids with wrestling, because you're a great champion wrestler. So I picked that charity. Well, that charity ends up being igniting a collective meaning because they want to hear that story. So that story about Lance is on those people's ears. Our AI does that. And those ears hear it. So when they see that story, I'm getting goosebumps, it's now a triangle. It's translational impact. That shared identity, people throw down comments, they add money onto the charity.
And the crazy thing, I want to say this, and I know you are, if you accomplish this, you'll have, and I know, and I believe you will, you have changed the world because social media is so bad for people.
I want to say something.
And this would be good for people.
Do you remember what the license plate on my car says, Lance?
No.
You just watch.
Yeah.
I've had that for 30 years. You just watch. Not only will it change the world, I'll tell you what it'll do instantly. Pope, before he passed away, Francis, the biggest existential threat in this world, he said, was the globalization of indifference. It's people poking each other in the eye. This will immediately turn that around because it's connective behavior. Remember I told you about the 3 different donations? What happens? It's called operant conditioning. Right. People learn the value and they'll crave it because they feel it.
Right.
They've already got it and they've already got the giving needle in their arm and they can't get rid of it. Right. Can you imagine that? And you can't get rid of it and it's spreading. That's what's going to happen. The globalization globalization of
Are you
indifference.
taking investments in your company?
I'll tell you in a second. The globalization of indifference is one thing. It will turn it around overnight. Nobody will take a picture for free, and people will be doing either C-snaps with influencers, or they'll be doing lifesaver photos, C-snaps with friends, and sharing the moment and honoring it forward.
Right.
Now, to answer your question,
like I already decided what my first
But here's-
C-snap
I
is
want-
going to be of me and Zeke.
okay, let me
Because
tell you,
I
let me tell you something else.
believe that needs
That's
to
the
happen.
first. That's the first existential threat of the globalization of indifference. The second one is climate control.
Right.
Here's a newsbreaker for you. The driving factor in climate control. There's an article in the paper right now. 35,000 of the top scientists have said it's overconsumption. We are actually consuming 1.8 amount,
what
almost
used
two
to.
times of what the Earth can handle to take in our dumps. So we're upside down and we're going broke. All right. Overconsumption is it. The only solution they could come up with for overconsumption was, let's go to Hollywood screenwriters and have them write screenplays and movies coming up that make people be less selfish. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. When you feel and experience something and you're so craving it, you focus on that. I just want to do that. I don't care what I did before. Vanity came from social media. Social media was supposed to create communities. Instead, it created markets. People just played to that and made money on it.
Right.
Selfish social is about community. It's called about lifesavers. So what will happen is people will be so turned on about feeling something from people's stories, lifesavers, and watching gratitude and the impact gratitude has on people, that vanity is going to go away.
Right.
We have a statement called humanity over vanity. It will automatically shift people from the importance of buying things to not. It'll be more time spending in a platform where you connect with people and inspire and get inspired by people. So climate control, it'll knock it out because it'll just change. It's like baggage fees.
Right.
Remember when you said not have them? Now you can't even conceive of a word with baggage without them.
Right.
And people will look back on vanity and go, "Hey, remember when people used to be so vain?" Oh no, yeah, because they're so connected. So it will change both of them. Back to money. I have funded it myself. We are open. I'm not going to do any financing. Whoever wants to put their name, here it is.
You want to become Elon Musk?
No, bigger than that. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You're not
Nobody
bigger than
nobody has one iterative solution, one generative solution, even regenerative. But generative is new. I have the solution for the social problem. We are the off-ramp for a torn world, and immediately it will change it. Our government should fund this. Whoever has the money should drop it in as a donation, as a grant, and let's go. I don't need it.
So you're doing this not to make money. You're doing this because you think it's a great idea.
Of course, and leave a legacy. Because why not change the world?
It's
This
equivalent
world-
to my career night on Tuesday
me
nights.
tell
We
you
did comedy night, we did taco night, and now I want to do career night.
Turn on the news. The apocalyptic narrative that's out there. When you think it can't get any worse, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse. We are an off-ramp. They'll turn you around and go back to where we came from, back to the Coca-Cola days of holding hands. But it's all about meaningful stories.
Yeah, remember that? Remember
I like to drink
We
the
are
world
the
of Coke.
world, and the Coke thing. Jimmy Jam's redoing that currently right now.
Well, he should talk to us because we own the trademark, the world of we. Because if anything that the epidemic showed us was we are the world of one, the world of we. Doesn't matter what color your skin is, the color of your blood's is identical. So, world of we, one of the big things our bigger vision is about, the metaverse was supposedly it. People aren't into the metaverse. That was avatars. It's the wow-verse. Wow me. Tell me about what's coming. Get me excited because here is the key.
I'll tell you a story about the Canning Club.
I want to say one thing before you do.
Okay, go ahead.
The greatest thing about this, what makes us so unique, gratitude. There's a paradox with gratitude. No one's ever told you about this. If you share gratitude, like I told you, for 2 weeks, you'll have a 25% increase in happiness. Trust me, all the things that come with menopause will go away. It's unbelievable. Read articles, you'll see it. People don't continue gratitude. They don't because they're too busy focusing on scanning on staying alive. Because if I'm not looking for problems, conflict, or threats, I may step out of my car and get hit by a truck.
Right.
So people don't reflect. So here's the cool thing. In the gratitude lounge, there's no negativity. So you cannot, any negativity, you're out. And we don't know sex, politics, and religion. So those stories that people are sharing, they're safe. So when you protect gratitude with no fear, it takes off. And that's the key to what we're doing. Gratitude Lounge, online gratitude.
Yeah, I guess in my brain I'm trying to figure out what would backfire on you, but as long as, do you approve it before it gets on?
Yeah.
Because someone's perception of gratitude
People
is
love to-
severely different than other people's
Well, yeah.
perception.
If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. It's pretty simple. I grew up with it. You grew up with it. If you have to think about it, probably not a good idea.
In other words, you should have some id control.
Well, but here's what it is. I don't care what you love. I don't want to hear what you hate. You can love guns and you can love animals. Well, you're not going to hear the same stories.
Right.
Okay, you'll fly different out. I just want to know what you love. When you get people to only focus and not only hear what you love, then we become lovers as people. We're changing society.
So when are you
Aristotle
launching?
said
What
it-
is the date you're launching?
The first of the year.
Okay. So the first of the year you're going in there, and do you have to be a member? Do you sign up for it?
People can go to Tie-In Official, any one of the social media sites, Tie-In Official, and log in, sign up, get an account.
So it's basically you download the app and you're a member.
Yeah. And, when you do a C-Snap with if you have an opportunity to do one with an influencer, a big watermark is the thing that stops you until you buy it. That's what prevents it. We actually have a patent for a pay-to-post. So I patented the C-Snap process of, got a second?
So you can pay to post it too.
Well, no, you get a free post in our Gratitude Lounge after you buy the donation. So
But that's driving everyone to Gratitude Lounge.
Yeah. But back to
I like that because you're not having them go to Facebook or Instagram.
No, it happens
or
on
TikTok.
our site, and we're keeping it there. And this is user-generated content that's positive emotional energy. Positive emotional energy is beyond the most powerful thing people ever feel. And when they start being able to feel it and know they can, people will crave it, and that's our goal.
So I'm going to ask you a last question because we have to wrap up here. You have any grandkids yet?
I have 6.
Wow.
And I'm so wealthy because my wealth is
so
my
wealthy,
grandkids. My wealth is my grandkids. I'm doing this because I want to leave a legacy. And I think put it this way, this is inevitable. It inevitably will change what we're doing.
And it will happen by the sheer will of Terry Ahern.
Yeah. If you shoot a bullet at me and I catch it, and if I can shoot it right back to where you shot it from, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
Well,
Just shooting
I'm
it back.
in, and I will set up my account, and I will make sure that everybody is, because that's what I have a problem.
I want to say one
stopped
thing.
listening. I stopped watching social media, and I started playing Mahjong along with my producer, Luann.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that when I'm playing Mahjong, my brain shuts off. It's the same as coaching football.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it, and I enjoy it. And I know we have to wrap up, and I know I'm getting the look, but thank you so much, Terry. I want you to come back
I will.
when this launches because I really think that we all need to support this and we all need to get it moving because I think it will resolve a lot of things.
One last thing, anybody that's interested in a career, Gen Zers that are passionate about helping other people and creating that change, it's a dream. So go to Tie-In, Tie-In Official.
Career opportunities.
Yeah,
That's
career
great.
or any investment, any of that. But yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for Terry Ahern, and thank you to all you guys. And we will see you next week where music meets the soul.